security lockdown is in effect. Please enter access code. Authorization code correct. Warning. Malfunction in security authorization. Access denied.
It appears that the terrorists do not want any visitors.
Now, I believe the clue here is that this table is some sort of propulsion system. So we need to build something to... Hold on.
Let's look around, gentlemen. Maybe we can come up with an idea. I'm open to suggestions.
Before I spoil it.
Captain, when you were in school, did you ever make a tennis ball cannon?
Of course, Mr. Scott. It's a dormitory tradition. Empty cans, tape, and a little propellant. If I remember my formula... But what's that got to do with our situation?
I was standing here looking at the cannon and thought maybe we could use the same idea to get through that wee door.
We're going to knock down the door with a tennis ball?
I'm sure Scotty had something else in mind. You did, didn't you, Mr. Scott?
Aye, Captain. In an engineering dorm, that's for freshmen only. As you move along, you get into bigger and better versions.
We'll use a big tennis ball?
No, laddie. I was thinking, since we cannot fix the phaser here, maybe we could build some sort of mass driver. The capacitors on the cannon can discharge a lot of power in a short burst.
Oh, I remember. Using magnetic fields to propel an object faster and faster.
Don't say it, laddie. You didn't invent them.
Of course not. I was going to say we will need an iron tennis ball. I don't think we have time to talk now, Captain.
But we've just been talking. Anyway, we need to build this launching system.
We'll still have to wire them up, Captain. That's going to be the real job.
Well, it's good that you're with us, Scotty.
Captain, I'll need a little help positioning the clamps correctly while wiring them. Captain, push harder. I'll need these tighter to get more power.
I'm giving it all I got, Scotty.
A standard 350 micron interface cable.
Oops.
We are hooked up here, Captain.
Almost there.
Actually, Captain, I don't think these will do. They'd survive firing the beastie, but they don't carry enough current for what we're likely to need.
I'm sure we could find something that would work in this place.
Oh, we've already done that one.
The capacitor should charge very quickly.
All we need is a suitable projectile. One projectile ready to go, Captain.
Maybe I should have done this capacitor first.
This seems pointless. An old-style phaser cannon capacitor. It is currently uncharged.
I was hoping that we'd get some sort of description of this. Anyway.
We can give it a try, Captain.
Just walk right in front of it while we're trying to power it up. And that's what happens when you try it without the capacitors all fully charged.
You pick the lance up off the floor.
One projectile ready to go, Captain.
Okay, time for a cut. maybe not. That was extremely fast.
Thank you, Captain. This'll be just like old times.
School must miss you dearly, Mr. Scott.
And I believe this table is now out of action, so these capacitors will no longer charge.
Chekhov takes the capacitor off of the Aurora generator. Chekhov takes the capacitor off of the Aurora generator.
Oh
The
dear.
engineering panel. Look what we've done.
The spacesuit.
We made a bit of a mess here, didn't we? We had no choice. Remember, who's really at fault here?
That we will, Captain.
Well, technically, it's still us.
Whatever used to be on this pedestal is now long gone. The plaque has been badly scoured by flying debris. Although badly scuffed, when it was blasted free of the ceiling, the gas canister and nozzle look functional.
The curator mentioned these were in each room.
We could open the door and spray it on the terrorists.
If it's fast enough to stop them from using their phasers, it'll stop us too.
And they'd get a warning if the door started to open. Time enough to put the hostages in jeopardy. They're right next door, gentlemen. Caution is advised.
It'll take me at least another hour, Captain.
Scotty?
Sorry, Captain. I thought you said something to me.
I know, Captain. Look around, get to work. We have no time to talk. I didn't have anything in particular to say anyway.
But you said it quite succinctly, Ensign.
The gas canister is a bit beat up from the fall, but still functional.
Okay, so it's going to be a bad idea to go through this door at the moment, but we still have one other area to explore.
Security lockdown is in effect. Please enter access code.
Written on the plaque, Federation Scientific Probe Model 331-19A. The 331-19A was powered by a small fusion reactor, since removed. The 331-19A had considerable range but was considered slow. The 331-19A carried a 3-ton instrument array. This has also been removed from the display model. This particular probe was used to monitor the collision of Algiers 5 and Algiers 6. One of the double stars at the core of the Algiers system had begun to collapse to a brown dwarf stage, and the resulting fluctuations resulted in the planet's orbital paths crossing, which led to their collision.
I've used one of these before, Captain. Everyone notices the fusion reactor, but I'll bet they forgot the fuel cell that served as backup power for the instrument package. It's probably as dry as a bone after all these years.
The schematics for a Dunkelberger automated worker Mark 12. The plaque reads, "The Dunkelberger automated worker Mark 12 was a successful entry in the early days of automated labor. The Mark 12 was designed to function as a cargo helper, allowing small manufacturers to cheaply compete against large corporations. Due to their small size, reliability, and obedience, these robots were often treated like pets and given names that were incorporated into their response systems. This particular version was called Barney." This display is all glistening angles of crystal, written on the plaque, an early example of the crystalline computers developed by the Lantoids of Tuner 9. Supposedly impossible to access by non-Lantoid life forms, the computer works on a combination of harmonics and light transmission. The Lantoids make physical contact with the computer to operate it. It is said that listening to a Lantoid operate the computer is like listening to a complex musical score played on delicate chimes. The Lantoids view programming as an art form.
I don't know how this works, but looking at it reminds me of the time when I was a boy working on my first electronics project. I built one of those old crystal radios. Maybe this computer somehow projects its answers into your mind.
It may be just looking at the crystals made you remember that, Captain.
It's possible. Are you now practicing psychology, Mr. Scott?
Oh no, Captain. I'm just a simple country engineer. The access panel is stuck, Captain. I don't think any of us are strong enough to pull it free. We can't have it do anything until we get it running. This is an odd beastie, Captain. I'm not even sure how they powered this thing. It'd take days to begin to understand it.
You, Scotty?
I'm only human, Captain.
Let's see if this has enough power.
There's only a wee bit of juice in this capacitor, but I think it'll be enough to power up the robot. It's a tight squeeze, Captain. I don't think we'd be able to get it back out once it's in. Should I go ahead and do it?
We could use the help, Mr. Scott. Energize the robot. Not yet, Mr. Scott. We may need that power elsewhere. We could use the help, Mr. Scott. Energize the robot.
It seems pointless not doing it. Hello, Barney.
Time may be a factor, gentlemen. Let's work a bit faster.
I hope we get the terrorists soon, Captain. I'm afraid we might be late if we don't hurry.
If I talk, I can't work or think, Captain. The access panel is stuck, Captain. I don't think any of us are strong enough to pull it free.
You get no response.
Okay.
Barney, open the pod bay door.
That was slightly convoluted.
I knew it. They forgot to take out the fuel cell. That fusion reactor always scares people enough that they forget the backup cell. It's dry now. You'd need to wet this beauty down and get a catalyst in her.
Okay, so what do we have? That's wet.
A decanter full of the curator's finest blend. This display is all glistening angles.
Whoops.
I don't know how this works.
It may be
It's possible.
Oh no.
A rather large bottle of Kazakhstanian cognac.
I hate to see a sweet liquid used for something other than tasting, but at least it'll work a fair bit in here. Better than brandies? More than Stums? Look out, fuel cell, here she comes. It's a good thing to build in so much flexibility. The silver isn't a bad catalyst and will act as a contact too.
All hooked up and charging, Captain.
And while we're waiting,
It probably wouldn't hurt anything to take one crystal. It's just a display after all. This one looks good.
I wouldn't know where to start, Captain. This is a bit beyond me, Captain. It's operating, Captain. It's just not too vigorous. We'll need to build up the power in the capacitor.
There we go.
All ready to go, Captain.
You remove the silver tray.
Save new, replace pre.
Ah, Barney has followed us. So there's two ways to complete this mission. The first is by using the transporter here, and the other way is by using the communicator just here. In this playthrough I'm going to try and go for a more, shall we say, peaceful option, but in a separate video I will show how to complete this mission using this machine here.
You know, Mr. Scott, this machine is not in bad condition.
Captain. Look, but don't touch.
You're right, Mr. Scott, but the only thing missing on this is the transmitter and some power.
You think Lieutenant Uhura would object if we swapped it for hers?
Scotty, I never took you for having a death wish.
No change, Captain. She's still short power and some sort of transmitter.
We have power here.
It will fit, Captain, but why are we doing this?
Why aren't we doing this?
This reminds me of the time when I was a boy working on my first electronics project. I built one of those old crystal radios. With luck, we'll be able to get this transmitter working. It's been a while, but I think that will work.
All hooked in, Captain.
I rigged up an isolated piece of frame in there as one conducting plate and the tray as the other. It's not the best solution, but it's the best I can do here.
Okay. There's probably a reason why the transporter route is a lot easier, as this next part requires some dialogue skills, well, communication skills.
Well, let's see how well this works. Kirk to Enterprise. Kirk to Enterprise. Enterprise, come in.
Who is this?
This is Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. Who are you? Whoever you are, call for help. There are terrorists in the museum. This is Captain Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. I'm in the Smithson Museum, where hostages are being held.
Something tells me we're speaking to the people who are in charge of the hostages.
How interesting. I'm in the Smithsonian Museum holding hostages.
Who am I talking to? You should give up immediately. You have no chance. I'm holding a Corbomite device. Why don't you and I discuss this? Who am I talking to?
We probably don't want to piss them off.
My name is Lucas. I'm a member of the Lockean family, Onakan.
I've never heard of the Onakan family.
It's no surprise you haven't heard of us, even though we're one of the largest and oldest families on Lockean. Just shows how much the Federation believes the lies the Saransi pass along.
The Saransi are your enemies? I find it unlikely the Federation will take sides. Of course the Federation backs the Saransi. You don't see them taking hostages and setting traps for museum curators, do you? I find it unlikely the Federation will take sides.
If the Federation isn't backing the Saransi, how do you explain a ceremony giving the Saransi the Quelke? Obviously, the Federation believes their lies.
The Kelki. You mean the probe?
It is more than just a probe to us. The Quelke discovered Lachian generations ago. The entire race owes its existence to the Quelke.
I knew it had great significance. I just didn't know there was anyone else involved. This is when the original planet was on the verge of being destroyed? I thought the Saransi ruled your race. Shouldn't they be the ones that controlled the Kelki? This is when the original planet was on the verge of being destroyed?
We have as much claim to that probe as anyone.
It sounds like you have a legitimate grievance. Does the Saransi also have a right to the Kelki? Then why is the museum handing the Kelki over to the Saransi?
Why indeed?
It's because you're a pack of idiots. You have no idea what's going on. No idea who should have the Quelke.
Does the Saransi also have a right to the Kelki? Idiots, huh? Would an idiot do this?
No.
Does the Saransi also have a right to the Kelki?
Of course they do, but no more than we have.
Then this situation should be looked into more closely by the Federation. We're here with the best intentions. You want peace? We want peace. Then release the hostages now, and we'll talk about a solution. Then release the hostages now, and we'll talk about a solution.
We deal from power.
If you agreed to release the hostages now, the Federation would not only keep the Kelki out of the Saransi's hands for now, but send in mediators to help find a peaceful solution for all. And so do we. Power is something we have far more of than you. You would be wise to give up now and end this foolishness. If you agreed to release the hostages now, the Federation would not only keep the Kelki out of the Saransi's hands for now, but send in mediators to help find a peaceful solution for all.
Is that an offer?
That's a guarantee. Obviously, I'll have to check with my superiors on this, but I'm certain something can be worked out.
Well,
That's a guarantee.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're looking for guarantees and assurances right now.
Then we have a deal. We will turn off the security override and give ourselves up. And trust the word of Captain Kirk.
Mr. Chekhov, have Dr. McCoy beam down to make sure the curator and guards are all right. Mr. Scott, lower the museum's shields and have a security team beamed aboard. Captain's log supplement. The terrorists had already turned off the security override. After putting the 3 Onikons in custody, it was decided that the probe would not be returned to the Saransi. Federation mediators will visit Lachian to assist in the negotiations on the fate of this artifact. The fact that they gave up voluntarily when they could have possibly escaped and injured no one certainly made points for the Onikon's claim. Curator Brezhnev was treated by Dr. McCoy and is in good health. Commendations are in order for Scott and Chekhov for meritorious service. Lieutenant Uhura, send a message to Admiral Richards. Tell him he owes me more than he thinks he does.
Aye, sir. I have a feeling he's not going to be surprised.
I'm afraid I'm going to remember this mission with a great deal of sadness, Captain.
Why is that, Mr. Scott?
It was such a fine cognac, Captain. It was just waiting for us, and now it's gone forever. Such a waste. You always remember the one that got away.
Sure, Scott.
Captain, message incoming from Starfleet.
I see they got our report. On screen.
I've reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. I am very pleased with your performance. It was a perfect mission, Jim. Your reputation as Starfleet's best starship captain is secure. Kane out.